So, Ali, welcome to Unite Monaco. I will start with a simple question. What is Pharma, a pledge therapeutics, and what is your mission?
First of all, thank you, Nicoletta, for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to discuss what we're doing. So, Pledge is our pledge to cure human disease. Specifically, a number of diseases remain unaddressed. There's a significant amount of unmet medical need. The technologies are there. The therapeutics, however, are suffering a funding gap. And our mission is to unite both investment and drug development into one unit so that we can accelerate the development of some of these life-saving drugs.
Oh, yes, it's a very important mission when it's about life savings. So, why this industry? Why should one invest or pay attention to biotech?
So it's an interesting industry if you're a capitalist or if you're just a concerned human who suffered loss from someone that's dear to you. Everyone has had some brush with biotech in that regard. So if as an investor, biotech has been historically performing better than the S&P 500 over the last 2 decades in the public market. The private market's also been doing great for the last 20 years. The returns are unparalleled, sometimes even exceeding tech. So there's a tremendous opportunity for investors to do strategic investment, multiple entry points and exit points. So it's a big industry, massive industry, one of the largest industries, yet there's a significant amount of unmet medical need. And that is something that's very clear to many individuals. Everyone's lost someone that's dear to them, whether through diabetes or oncology or other infectious disease. So from that point of view, from a social impact point of view, there's a huge need to be able to create awareness of why no new drugs are being developed in some of these disease indications. For example, in antibiotics, there hasn't been a new drug in the last 40, 50 years. And the reason is because for the last several years, we've made technological advances, but not a lot of innovation has happened in the business. And there's still a singular model, that the VC-based model, which works, but could be improved. And our model is to be able to accelerate early stage drug discovery, which requires a lot more scientific specialist knowledge, but as well as more access to capital is required. More ideas die because of lack of funding in biotech than because the technology not working. So the mission statement for us is to kind of accelerate this path by being drug developers and investors simultaneously under the same roof. And that is the overall kind of the mission statement of our company too.
But why do you focus on the early stage? Is it not too risky?
Yeah, so that's the question that we get asked often. And yeah, I think the risk aspect is always there in any business. But if you look at risk, it's a matter of perspective. In our industry, late stage is more risky because there's no opportunity for course correction. So the results and outcomes of clinical trials are very binary. At that point, there's no new development. It's essentially just testing the drug. So I feel that the risk is greater there and the returns are poorer. In early stage, you have the opportunity to really improve a program, solve some real problems that are ultimately going to give the program legs to be able to walk through the regulatory and the clinical development path. And the biggest part is that over 99.9% drugs have not yet been discovered. And that can only be unlocked, that multi-trillion dollar market can only be unlocked by early stage investments.
But do you think that these three companies that you invest in will provide enough or adequate diversification? Is this enough?
Yeah, so for us, we've raised 25 million. We've deployed that across three entities, in immunology and oncology, and antivirals, inflammation, and the diversification is addressed in these companies by how they have pursued their discovery programs. So in the traditional model, you have a single company developing one product, and here we are developing multiple products within each company. Our cancer company, for example, has 8 different programs, 8 different types of cancers. our antiviral company has 3 different virus and 1 antibacterial program. So there's a lot of inbuilt diversification in our programs. The fact, however, that we house them in a singular disease-related unit makes them opportunities for strategic buyouts or strategic transactions with big pharma companies. So we've actually taken a very novel and kind of aggressive approach towards diversification.
This is true, and while this has obvious benefits for investors, it may raise some issues of conflict of interest. How do you manage this kind of situation?
Yeah, so the conflict of interest is definitely something that we're very aware of, and we've kind of taken several different approaches to it. And my colleague, Matt Wrigley, will talk more about that in his session. But overall, we've created independent bodies in terms of governance, some thought leaders, key opinion leaders in the pharma and investment world who are at an arm's length that will oversee the governance of the deployment of the fund. The investment committee will have independent oversight of what the management is doing, how the companies are advancing their assets and deploying capital. And, so there's several levers that we've built in that are independent of the management that go through various stages of investment approval and deployment. And then also from a financial point of view as well. So we're very transparent about this entire process that we're happy to talk more about.
Thank you so much for being here with us, and I hope to see you again next year and in the years to come, and to let us know about the evolution of this project.
It is my pleasure. It's an absolute treat to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.